Hello everybody and welcome to the Morning Grind Fondo powered by Dirt and Draft. My name is Jesper Anker and as always I am your host for this mornings, this afternoons, this I guess evening if you're in Australia. But yes, I will be your guide tonight right here in Swift Community Live. I will talk you through the action, hopefully make your day a bit more fun, a bit more exciting. And for everyone out there who's racing, hopefully I'll take your mind off the pain for just a second. Where with that second, you gain a bit more energy and you can push that much further. So the Morning Grind Fondo, possibly one of my favorite races on Swift right now. And I feel like I find myself saying this every broadcast I do, but it's just the community, the people involved in these things, they make them fun. So the Morning Grind Fondo is, as mentioned, powered by Dirt and Draft. So that's your Matt Gardners, your Greg Leo, your Matt Brands, and your Jason Stern, who are involved in setting up this great league on Zwift. So I believe in total, it's 12 weeks of racing. The 9 best weeks of racing count towards your overall league rankings. And at the very end of things, at the very end of affairs, there is a trophy for whoever is the best Morning Grind Fondo racer in both the A's, the B's, the C's, and the D's. Who doesn't want a trophy? Looking at the chat, who's in here tonight? We've got Jesper Fulford. Shout out to my man, Nils Heldens. Werner Finger, funniest Austrian guy I've ever met. Lionel Vujasin. So, rumor has it he's still angry over double draft. Siga Gova's in here. Shout out to my man as well. Kim Little is racing. Philip Deichner. Leandro Messino saying hola. Hello, man. Ian Anderson is here. And David Epeta is in here. Can we go hard, please, says Lionel Vujasin. But guess we'll see about that because here we go. This, ladies and gentlemen, was the course you may have watched last night. So last night we had the GCN race powered by GCN, I guess, right on Swift. It was Nathan Guerra who did the commentary on the Swift main page. You can catch all the highlights of that over on Facebook, Twitch, or Twitch, wherever you want to see. But it looks like straight out of the gate, Kim Little, the UK national champion, is popping his aero power up right out of the gate. Strategic, I'm not sure if that is it, but it looks like he's in a playful mood tonight. So everyone is actually popping their power-ups. If you look further back, we see 2 aero power-ups, we see a drafting, and Kim says, I'm done. So Kim Little doing his best Tim Fulford impersonation tonight out on course. Patrick Blair is tuning in, who I did the massive disservice last week of calling him Peter or Paul, and then I should have just continued guessing. It is Patrick Blair who is tuning in tonight and racing as well. Looking further through the start list, Matt Brandt is racing his own race as well. But last night, Nathan Guerra covered the GCN race. It was an excellent race. We had Cy Richardson and James Lowley Williams racing from the GCN studios. And we had over 1,000 people signing up to this race between the A's, the B's, the C's, and the D's. And it was amazing to see just how many people were involved in Zwift racing. And so now we're going to do the same course. So if you saw it last night, we're going to do it the same thing today. It's the park perimeter course. It's 3 laps in total. So they're going to go around the park, the perimeter, as the name suggests. It's quite lumpy. It's not that hilly, but it's undulating terrain. It's up and down. And then the finish is quite technical. Yesterday, we saw Team Draft take a 1-2. They had Gavin Dempster up there, who's a great friend of the show. And they had Adam Zimmerman, the U.S. national champion of Swift, taking up the 2nd place. I mean, everyone's eyes yesterday were on Steve Young. But at the end of the day, it was Team Draft who took it home. Seagove says, thanks, Jesper. Are you using the metric system? Are you listening, Nathan? Well, it just happens to be that I'm Danish, and I grew up using the metric system, so it just makes sense. I could change it to miles, but that honestly would not really make sense to me. But if we look through the start list tonight, because I know it's packed. And how do I know that? Well, I see possibly the strongest man in all of Swift racing is on the start list. Leandro Messino. And Leandro, I went through your palmarès the other day, just out of curiosity, because I asked myself, who is the poison dart frog? Who is this specimen that just popped on Swift suddenly and started dominating everything? So I went through your archive, I went through your results as a professional racer, and I have a love relationship, a really weird love relationship with the Tour de St. Louis, because like 5 years ago, in the old days of Cycling Hub, I used to cover that race. I'd provide like do-it-yourself English commentary over some grainy stream. But then I found out that in like 2014, in the individual time trial, you came 5th. You came 5th in the Tour de St. Louis individual time trial. And when you rewatch the footage, when you rewatch the TV footage, they actually have a comparison in the time trial, a live video comparison between Leandro Messino and Tour de France runner-up Nairo Quintana. How unreal is that? So Leandro Messinho, who is a legend out on the road, is now on Zwift, and he is a beast. He's a monster to be reckoned with. Speaking of monsters and beasts, we've got Tish Sonneveld, who used to be a professional cyclist as well, now turned journalist and author. He's written the book called The Descent, which covers Thomas Decker's life on Rabobank, Afterlap, Rabobank, everything that evolves in cycling. And it looks like he's caught the Zwift racing bug, because I keep seeing Tish sign up to these events. I keep seeing him getting involved, and it's very exciting to see ex-professionals and, I mean, just overall cool people like Tish Sonneveld to get involved on a regular basis. Quick shout out to some of the dirt riders in here. So I was very kindly asked, as we hit a little incline here, so we're going to see the watts go up. You can see this is the main incline on this course. It goes up. We'll go first person view at the front so you can see where they're tackling, about 6%. It means you have to go into the orange for a tiny bit, but on the first lap, I wouldn't expect them to go that crazy. But I was asked very kindly on the Zwift forums on Facebook to give a shout out to all the dirt riders in the B category, in the C category, in the D category. And I do agree, guys, that I don't want to just be covering the A race, but I don't have the tools at my disposal to go and broadcast the Bs and the Cs and the Ds. Unfortunately, it's only the Nathan Guerras and the Johnny Nublets that can do that. But it looks like this increased effort over the top is going to stretch out things here on the park perimeter. So this hill is a bit tougher than it seems to be. So I watched this race yesterday on GCN. Maybe it's the double draft that's in effect. I will openly and honestly admit, I've never raced the park perimeter course. I've raced the 6-train reverse, and I've raced the LaGuardia loop. Those are the two courses I've raced on Zwift, and this is my first time covering a park perimeter race, so I'm excited to see how this one turns out. So I see Seeger goes again saying, oh, actually we got Rod Leach saying, brutal race last night with GCN. I'm burst today, and I can't believe Kim is racing again. Yeah. And I don't know how Kim does it either. He did say that this morning that his legs were shut and he will just give it his best. So we also see Lionel Vujasin is in here. He's sitting at 11 watts per kilo right now. And if you watched last week's morning grind Fondo, you would know Lionel Vujasin, because he gave it the beans, as they would say here in the UK, up the Fox Hill, or up Box Hill. He gave it everything. And I think he had a 25-second gap at the top of Box Hill, which looked to be great, looked to be safe. I mean, in the old days of Zwift, he just sailed into the sunshine. He would just win it, outright favorite. They're never going to get back on. But since Zwift have introduced this new initiative of double drafting, true drafting, as Simon Schofield calls it, Lionel Vujasin got caught on the descent. 10 seconds later or whatever, whoosh, it all came back together. And Lionel had some strong words over on the Zwift Riders Forum after that. He was not impressed. But it looks like we have an attack off the front. Ryan Lyon of Team ODC with Mr. Lysa, who did quite well last week, and also Hughes. So we have 3 riders off the front. And it is worth mentioning that we do have double draft activated for this race. And the working theory is, which is as good as a proven theory pretty much, because this is the community, this is the racers that come together and make these assumptions. But from what I'm hearing from racers that have raced with double draft and without double draft is, if you can get into a breakaway of at least 3 riders, it feels like you go much faster, much stronger. It creates like a blob. That's what it takes to activate the blob. And this is by no means scientific. This is just what the community has been saying from personal experience with the new racing strategies and new racing initiatives, is that if you can get in the breakaway and you can get 3 people, you go so much faster than if you're 2 people. And I know that makes sense. I know that no, Jess, but that's just common sense. But for it to have such a big difference or influence is quite interesting. So Vujasin is in here, winner of the CVR World Cup Vancouver. We've got Matt Gardner in here as well, strong rider. He was in the CVR World Cup Los Angeles, so he's racing for Team Draft, and he is one of the organizers of this event. We've got Lionel Messi, as I like to call him, Greg Leo. So last week on that course where we did see Lionel Vujasin get caught due to the double draft, Greg Leo sat in the majority of the race. He sat in, he played it really well until the very end. He unleashed his 20 watts per kilo sprint and took Kim Little to the line, with Lionel Vujasin coming into 3rd place. And looking at the overall standings right now as they are, we have a shared 1st place between Kim Little and Greg Leo, and we actually got Kasper Fulsack in here. So Kasper is a professional cyclist out of Denmark. He races the track but it looks like he's been spat off the back. And now let's see what this track effort can do. Double draft up the front, 13 seconds out there. I don't think Kasper Folsak is going to get back in there. But that's interesting to see because Kasper is a professional track cyclist in Denmark. And it looks like he's been spat out the back already. So we're coming, I think we're doing 29 laps 29 kilometers in total over 3 laps. So every lap is roughly around, what's that, 9 kilometers roughly? 9.5, 9.8 perhaps, is roughly what one lap is of racing on this course. It was good racing yesterday, and it looks like it will be so today as well, with aggressive and really assertive racing at the front of the affair. Some Mr. Lysa, Kubo, Hughes, Buckle. It looks like people are not too content with having a sit-in affair. And I'd love to hear you guys' opinion, because I see we have 26 people watching in the chat. Last week we had about 100, so there's a bit more opinions to get from. But in the chat right now, what is your overall opinion of New York so far? What do you think from a racing perspective, from a riding perspective, from a workout perspective? New York has now been out for a month? 3 weeks? That's at least what it feels like. So it's been out for a while now, at least, and everyone has gotten accustomed to it and tried a bit of everything. If you are an avid racer, let me know in the comment section below what you think of New York. If you are an avid group rider and you live and die by your Aussie Hump Day morning group rides on a Wednesday, or, well, I guess you wouldn't really be watching this, you'd be resting from the Aussie Hump Day, or you do a group workout, I'd love to hear what you think of New York as a course, as a just a place to be on Zwift. What is your overall opinion? And while you think of that, while you text it down and I can pick it up later on, I thought I'd just give you mine, because like New York, from a racing point of view, has been probably the best addition to racing. It looks like, from an outside looking in, it looks like Zwift have really upped their game when it comes to a racing parkour, and they see that undulating terrain, up and down terrain, it's really what you want for Zwift racing, because you can't steer, there's limited amount of engagement you can actually have in the game. So by adding all these up and downs, all these undulating terrains, small hills, you can really just split up the racing so much more, and it's a bit more engaging, and you really have to be on your A game, especially with a new double draft added to New York. If the elastic snaps, it's just over. You're not getting back in. So New York, from a racing perspective, I mean, I really enjoy commentating it. Racing, you have to be really fit because it hurts. In the chat, so we have Alex Sankovic saying, Watopia wins, more options, did 2 hours in the New York course and mostly rode the same laps over and over and over. So there are varieties of courses you can choose. You can either choose like the park perimeter, as they're doing now, so you ride inside Central Park, or you can go up to Highway to the Sky, I think it's called, where you go into the sky instead, which is also flat roads, but the majority of people look like they're doing inside the park when you're riding. Rod Leach is saying, I love it. It's good rolling hills, keeps the race active with attacks with a few places to recover. It's realistic. Yeah, that seems to be the general trend, Rod, that everyone seems to love New York for their racing as well. And it looks like Patrick Blair agrees with you. I have actually raced this man, HRU. I have raced for the last 2 mornings in the WBR races, and he's quite strong out of China. So he's got quite the engine, but he doesn't quite have the acceleration or the kick. So I've raced him twice in a row now. My personal experience with this man from China, HRU, he's quite strong. He can hold watts for days, but he lacks that kick. Christoph Tishak says, oh, sorry if I butchered your name, by the way, says, so all New York races will have double draft. No, that's not correct. Not all. You can see on the Zwift Companion app if a race has double draft, because it'll have the name #double draft next to it. So it's just the fact that most of the races we cover here on Zwift Community Live are double draft, and that just happens to be the case, not because we chose it, but just because the race organizers have it. And man, if we're looking at a peddler de charme early on here, a man racing with enthusiasm and with heart, Ryan Lyons out of Team ODC is really bent on breaking things up. And he's got Matt Gardner with him, the triathlete who's qualified for Nice next year in the Olympic distance triathlon. I think it's that, or it's the Ironman 70.3. I don't know which one of the two it is, and Matt, you'll have to correct me. I just know you're a crazy triathlete. Hey, Søren Bay, the Danish national champion of Zwift, is watching. So the current situation on the road is, as we've just finished 1 lap, the first lap of 3 on the park perimeter course. And so we have Mr. Cubeo with Ryan Lyons and Matt Gardner off the front of the race with a 5-second gap down to the peloton. So Draft is involved, Team ODC is involved, and Velocity is involved. This means that Dirt now have to react. This is Dirt's move to bring this back, and this could actually... We could see a proper breakaway happen here because Draft is involved, ODC is involved, and Velocity is involved. These are the three biggest teams in this race in the morning grind Fondo. We're just missing Kim Little up there, and that would be the perfect group to go off the front. I also think Hughes out of Team Type 1 has missed out, but if they can take turns in the front now and work for this could really see the pace being up now. Looking back into the chat, we got Callum Ellis saying, are you getting new bikes on Swift? Because I saw some TT bikes and a Halloween skeleton bike. Callum, there are new bikes being released on Swift once in a while due to special events, such as Kona. They released a new specialized shift. And the Halloween skeleton bike is a one-off thing they did for Halloween to celebrate the festivities. So everyone that day that logged in would be riding a shiny skeleton bike instead of their pre-ridden or their pre-chosen bike. So the breakaway has been caught. And Lionel Vujasin, racing for RCC, Rafa Cycling Club, has gone off the front now with Chris Beck. That would be a strong duo. And now we're going to see people react to it. So yesterday in the GCN race, I think the main reason it came down to a sprint was the sheer volume of the peloton. The fact that there were so many riders in there that it was difficult to break up. I mean, you saw Cy Richardson himself try to break things up, but it's so difficult when the blob is so big. Tonight, we've got 150 in total. We've got about 40 riders in the A group, which means if you can break things up, it might actually stick. Because there might be 40 A riders in the group in total, but there's only like 20 riders, 25 riders in the peloton, and that will slim down as you get further and further in. And if you look at the top right-hand side of the screen, you'll see the map, and we're coming up to this incline once again, and I think we're going to see somebody light it up. Whether it's Draft, Dirt, ODC, Kim Little, TT1, RCC, I mean, pick your poison. I think somebody is going to light it up. But so far, Lionel Messi has been very quiet. I'm sorry, Leandro, if you don't want me to call you that, but it's just so fitting because if you cut out your name, if you cut it short, it's Leo Messi. So it just kind of fits and it's quite suiting as Lionel Messi is the best footballer ever, or at least a candidate for it. And you're definitely in the runnings to be that on Swift as well. Just let me know if you don't appreciate it. It's okay, but it's just bad habits die hard. Looking further back into the chat as we're waiting the incline coming up in a second. We've got David Rollo saying, does changing wheels make any difference? I've just got SIP wheels, and what's the difference? Yes, so Swift Insiders, I think the official community fan blog of Swift, did some research on the wheels and the effects they have on your time and your speed. And depending on what your setup is, whether you're using SIP wheels, 202, 404, 808s, they will have different values and different assets. So if you're climbing, you want to be on a Tregemonde with SIP 202s. But if you're on the flat, you want to be on like a Cervelo S5 with SIP 808s. And so there is actually a difference in the game. And I think the conclusion he came to in his trials is the fact that you want to be using the Tron bike if you can. If you unlock the Tron bike, which is this fantastical, magical bike you see on Zwift, that is the bike you actually want to be using, as it seems to be the fastest across all sorts of terrain. So yes, bikes and frames and everything else do make a difference. But we're on the incline now, and we're seeing 7 watts per kilo, and it's a sustained effort now as they're going to turn left here. And if we look over the shoulder, this peloton is about to thin out. So it looks like we need to come up with a name for this incline, because this incline looks to be a mix between the Trafalgar Square climb on the Classique course, the Torture, which is the finishing of the 6-train reverse course, and the Leg Snapper of Innsbruck. It seems to be in the same category. They've all got their own names and personalities. This one right here could be the tongue twister, because this one goes like left, right, but it goes up. It's tough. Like that's definitely going to be able to snap the elastic if you're not paying attention. So if you're in the back here now and you suddenly lose that 5-minute cushion, that 5-minute close the gap notice, that could be game over. With double draft, you really, really have to dig deep to get back in. As we're seeing Kim Little sit on the back with the Poison Dart, Leandro Messinio as well. I see Aaron Lux is tuning in to watch as well. Thank you for tuning in, Aaron. Appreciate the love as always. And so is Andrew A.G. Jeans. Long time no see, my friend. Thank you so much for tuning in. So we're just about the halfway point in the racing in tonight's, this morning's morning grind Fondo, powered by Dirt and Draft. The winner gets a lot of points. Second place gets fewer points. And third place gets even fewer points. But You want to try and place as high as possible, and that way you go into the rankings. But it looks like Lionel Vujasin is going on to the attack here. So he did this last week up Bucks Hill. He managed to get a massive cushion. He got caught and then proceeded to lose the sprint. So I feel like, I mean, yesterday I asked Lionel Vujasin, are you ready? Are you excited to beat Double Draft? It's you versus Double Draft. He said, yes, Jesper, I'm hangry. I'm hungry and angry, and I'm ready to fight. So we'll see. We'll see what Lionel Vujasin comes up with today, but he's going to need some sort of support. The man is a legend. The man is a beast. The man is a machine. But 1 versus 20, I still take the 20. But it looks like further back, we have a bit of a split happening now as Lions, Kubo, it's starting to thin out now and spread out as more and more riders come to the front, start attacking. Riders are being spat off the back slowly. Matt Gardner sitting back here. Kim Little must really be he must be struggling today, because you never usually see Kim this far back in the racing. Kim always sits comfortably near the front, despite not having to. I mean, proven by Adam Webb on numerous occasions. You can sit near the back, draft, and just do the bare minimum. But that's not always, that's your racing style. That's your confidence and your ability to draft. And usually we see Kim sit top 5, top 10 at all times to mark attacks, to maybe even pull a turn on the front. But today it looks like he's parking the bus. He's set up a tent with Leandro Messinio, and maybe they have a bonfire near the back where they're going to be roasting some s'mores and singing some kumbaya. But Vujasin, 5 seconds off the front now. 4 seconds, 3 seconds. It's coming back down. With 1 lap to go when they cross the finish line, it'll be interesting to see how he plays it, because we all know, and we all are very, very certain that if it comes down to a sprint, if Greg Leo is interested, the man has got 20 watts per kilo in him. He's just, how he does it, where he packs it, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't pass customs, but that man, despite wearing 55 kilos, can put out 20 watts per kilo. So he's quite strong, he's quite fast, and you really don't want to take him to a sprint finish. You saw it last week. He'll just outplay you, he'll outsmart you. You really want to try and time it to perfection. So play it smart, play it cool, and get ready, because at some point, Vujasin is going to go. At some point, Hughes is going to go, and you want to try and be in that breakaway. At some point, well, I doubt Matt Gardner would go because they're trying to set it up for Greg, I think. So it could also be that could also be what Lionel Messinio is doing here. He might be in here just to help out Greg get some points in their own race series. But have you seen that trophy? The other day, about a week ago, I shared Matt Gardner's picture into Swift Racers. There's legitimately a trophy for winning a virtual Swift race. And yes, that might be tiny compared to the Wahooligan Super League, where you had the ability to win a full ecosystem or whatever, or the E-Crit, where you had the ability to be flown to London or Long Beach and race for a bunch of people. But for a race organizer to really put on a show and say, look, whoever wins, I'll send you this trophy. You can, as thank you for your efforts and being part of the race and being part of the community, here's your trophy to showcase that you are the best in the Morning Grind Fondo. It's such a small thing, but it goes such a long way. So I really do commend Dirt and Draft and whoever is involved with this race series, that thank you for being forward thinking, and thank you for just being different and innovative, because that's really what we need. You don't want to settle into just being this is our box and this is how it works. You want to think outside the box, and you want to widen horizons. And I think that's what Matt Gardner, Greg Leo, and the rest of the guys involved in this have done and are doing so far. And that was also partially why the reason I said to my boss, Nathan Garrett, look, Nathan, can I cover this race? Can I be involved? I really would like to showcase these guys, what racing is all about. But here we go. So under the sprint banner, I believe there's about 12 kilometers of racing left now. So we're on Mr. Pettinger out of Austria near the back. Ryan Lyons is sitting up here. I do see Lionel Vujasin in the chat that said, I will go again, followed by approximately 5 exclamation marks. And that could be a visual representation of how many matches he's got left to burn. It could also be an overeager response to the chat, but I do love the enthusiasm and the excitement, because here we go. We're about to enter the final lap of racing, I believe, as they hit towards the C on the map on the top right-hand corner. That is the finish of the race. Who is it going to go? Actually, saying that, I see him going on the front again. We see Lionel Vujasin. 10 watts per kilo off the front again. He's attacking. Looks like Chris Beck is trying to react to it. So is Ukasawa out of Japan. Who else is going to go with him? Lulu's going as well now. 13 watts per kilo. Greg Lysa is watching. Kim Little is near the front now. Hughes is here. This is a move, ladies and gentlemen. You want to be paying attention. This could be the winning move in the 3rd round of the Morning Grind Fondo, powered by Dirt and Draft. Vuyasin is 3 seconds up the road. If Usakawa and Mr. Beck and Lulu can come across, this could be quite a powerful move, but it looks like the entire peloton is strung out, and one by one, they're just bringing it back. This is just like real life racing. This is just like doing a crit in real life, because somebody will go and you think, I won't chase that down. And somebody else will go and you think, I won't chase that down. And somebody else will go and you'll think, maybe I should get involved. And without you knowing it, suddenly everyone is just strung out and following and chasing it down. We see David Rollo saying 20 watts per kilo. That is some power. I still can't get past 8 watts per kilo. Great watching these riders put out huge watts. Great commentary. Thank you so much, David. I do appreciate the kind words. Yeah, 20 watts per kilo. I can't either, my friend. I can get to a good 15 on a good day, 14 maybe, but that's a really good day. So getting to 20, and I have seen Greg Leo hit 23 in person. That man is a machine. Just unreal. So Chris Beck has gone off the front with Mike Kemper. I believe Mike Kemper is actually a professional cyclist, because when you look on Swift Power, he is SADA approved, and when you look further into his Strava, you see he's in a pro racing kit. So I think he might be a youngster who races for a professional team on the outside. But here we go. This will be the finish next time around. When we come to the next time, to this point, this will be where the race will be decided. This is going to be exciting to see. Victor Lundqvist is questioning my 15 watts per kilo. On a good day, I weigh 74 or 75 when I'm fit. 74 times 15 is what, 1200 watts? Yeah, I can hit. I can hit that on the hammer. I can definitely hit that. Victor says, come on, Vuyasin, never give up. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Ring that bell. Last lap of the park perimeter in the morning grind Fondo. If you've enjoyed it so far, please click a reaction on this stream or interact with it. All you have to do is take 1 second out of your day, click a like, a love, a haha, or whatever, and you pay us back. Well, it doesn't really pay us back, but you just show your appreciation, because so much goes into these streams behind the scenes with setting it up and getting involved and getting ready. And if you just click one love button, it just goes such a long way as showing that you really do appreciate the efforts from the riders, me sitting here and basically talking nonsense for 25 minutes while you try not to spit up your coffee with half of the stuff that comes out of my mouth. So I do appreciate it, and thank you very, very much. Martin Tucker says, hammer power? Yeah. Cyclops Hammer is known for being a top-end, heavy, happy trainer. And Victor Lundqvist says, on a very good day. But yes, on a very good day. So now it is time to count our chickens, because we're on the last lap. Who is going to go? Who's going to take the wind in the third round of the morning grind Fondo? Last week, it was Greg Leo. And the way we're heading, we could be looking at a repeat unless somebody's going to upset the order, unless somebody's going to go. We're heading to the, I want to call it a tongue twister because it's TT, but it's more like a leg twister or, knee twister? No, twister, is that the correct word? The spiral of death? I'm not sure. That must be a better name out there. It's not one of my brightest moments, but we're heading towards the incline where we're going to see someone go. If Lionel Wilson is listening, now is the time you want to borrow your deals. You want to start brokering around between different riders, sending private messages being like, I'm going to attack at this point. If we go, we can beat Greg, but I need you with me. I can't do it on my own. So you'd be sending that to Lions. You'd be sending that to Hughes. You'd be sending that to Mr. Kubio of Velocio. You'd be sending that around, and we'll see. We'll see if he's done his homework, and we'll see if he's mastered the art of the deal. We got Seagov in the chat saying 23 watts per kilo if you do just a sprint maybe, but when you're riding already at 30 minutes at FTP. So Greg Leo did 23 watts per kilo after racing the CVR World Cup finals. So that was 3 races in a row of the highest intensity you can get in Swift racing. And once he was done, he took a 10-minute break, took a beer, and got back on the bike and did one full-out effort where he hit 23 watts per kilo. So yes, insane. Alex Sankowitz says, I can barely get to 1,000 watts outside, let inside. Hats off. Hey, you can always get up there, Alex. It's just working hard and knowing how to do it on Zwift. Lionel Vuyasin says, I wouldn't attack on that hill. It'd be too obvious. But now Lionel's playing mind games because, yes, it'd be too obvious, but it'd also be too obvious not to do it. So by saying you're not going to do it, doing it would be the non-obvious choice. So now, this is why we love racing. You get in people's minds. It's what is it, 40% legs, 60% mind? So let's see, especially Swift, that is. That's if not even more towards the mind, but we'll see. Well, right now, we're doing what everyone else is doing right now. If you have a second monitor, they probably have it on Lionel Vuyasin. If they've got the Swift Companion app, they have it on Lionel Vujasin. I remember, I think it was Adam Webb or David Allenby that did this back when it was like the good old days of Swift racing. They would have their own monitor open, their own computer, and they'd borrow the wife's computer or the kid's computer or an iPhone or a tablet, have that open and just spectate Tim Cartwright for the entirety of the race, so they would know exactly where he is and exactly how he was feeling with his heart rate, his watts. And as he was about to attack, you would know because you were literally spying on him throughout the entire race. Nick Hansen says Mick is no pro, but a great rider. Oh, thank you very much. Steve Young is watching. Man, I've been missing those pythons. That is not a euphemism. So Matt Brandt near the front. Williamson is up there. Poison Dart Frog has been quiet tonight, but I think he's racing in support of Greg Leo. Here we go. We're about to hit the twister. So turning left and then turning left again now. And then another right-hand turn as they go up the incline. Starting to hit a 2%, 3%. If you're on a smart trainer, this is where you start to feel the incline. You start feeling encouraged to change the gears, get ready, get over the top, get in the draft, stand up, fight it. You can see Greg Leo is being very attentive near the front. He's sitting second wheel on the wheel of HRU, and he's also got Mr. Hughes of TT1, the Team Type 1, right up there with him. How is he going to play this? Kim Little is also sitting in fourth or fifth wheel. He's got something to prove after last week's defeat to Greg Leo. I know he's a man of pride. He rocks that Union Jack on the back, and I know he would very much like to take the win tonight, but it looks like HRU of China is putting down the herd on the front with Kamitz of Team Type 1 1D attacking over the top to try and follow him. And we got Matt Gardner playing the role of teammate of Domestique as he's just closing down attacks. Greg Lysa, or G Lysa, sorry, sitting at 8 watts per kilo. Kubo is going up there as well. Mick Kemper, 9 watts per kilo out of Netherlands. Lyons, Greg Leo, T. Sonneveld, Hughes, Brandt, Vujasin. Now, this is where I think Vujasin attacks. Over the top, everyone is resting. Maybe this is where he goes onto the attack. Now, it just becomes a guessing game. When is Lionel Vujasin gonna go? We have in the chat saying Will Botch says it seems to me that New York goes up It seems to me that New York goes uphill every time it goes left. Maybe it's like NASCAR, just another left turn, another left turn, another left turn. Maybe that's what they. After all, Swift is an American company. I don't know. After that hill, it is still status quo. We've got about 5 kilometers left of racing of this morning's morning grind Fondo. Race 3, who's going to take full points. It's either going to be, we're going to have a new leader, I think, regardless today. It's either going to be Kim Little or Greg Leo, depending on how this finish plays out. Gino Bartali saying, smash it, RCC. That is referring to Lionel Vujasin, who is the head captain of the RCC Swift racing team. Søren Bay, who's raced quite a few races by himself, or not by himself, on himself. He's also the Danish national champion of Swift, says it's too early to attack if you are alone. And yes, I agree. It's definitely too early. This is where like strength in numbers comes in, and this is where Swift has to evolve as a platform. You need to get more teammates, need to get more organized, because if you did have teammates, you could attack off the front and barter between the teams and make moves and agreements, and it would just make the racing much more tactical and a bit more interesting sometimes, because now it just becomes a waiting game, a watching game. You're looking over your shoulder, you're watching left, right. It's not NASCAR. You're watching left, watching right, and you're just paying attention to everybody else. So if you're Lionel, you're watching Greg, you're watching Kim, you're watching Hughes, you're watching Lyons, and that's about it. You just have to just be... you can get very, very far in Swift racing by just being reactive, which doesn't always encourage the best and most entertaining racing. But 4 kilometers to go now. Russell saying the hill name should be the Death Hill. I see what you've done there. I see what you've done there, and I commend your effort. I like that. The Dev Hill. That is only something I could come up with, and therefore it's a great idea. But Kim looks to have taken the turn on the front. 3.4 watts per kilo, 3.5. Another short incline at 3%, 2%. Watts have gone up now. T. Sonneveld has also started moving his way to the front. Kubio is sitting there. Brand is sitting there. Greg Leo, the Lion, is up there as well. It's going to be interesting. So in the chat right now, come with a prediction. You've got the next 30 seconds from me saying this right now. So if you're listening to this, 30 seconds from now to write a name in the comment section below. Who do you think is going to take this win? Is it going to be Kim Little, Greg Leo, Lionel Vujasin, T. Sonneveld, Lyons, Messinio, Matt Gardner, Greg Lysa, Chris Beck, Hughes? I mean, the list goes on. Who do you think is going to win and why? 30 seconds. I mean, the clock is ticking, so get in while you can. 26 kilometers of racing done. 32 minutes of total today. It's been a really fast race here with double draft activated on the park perimeter, and we're slowly heading towards the finish. Victor says someone called Leo is going to win this. Mr. C says it's going to be Kim Little, also old and fat and slow, which is a great name, says that Kim Little is going to win. You've got Nick Hansen saying Tish Sonneveld. Søren Bay is saying Kim for the win. Andrew is saying Greg Leo. So we're seeing a few different names being spit out here, and it's going to be interesting to see. Christoph is saying Lionel Vujasin. So if you're listening to this in the peloton, you've heard your name come up, no pressure, but people are believing you. They want to see big numbers. So now we're going to head through the intermediate sprint, go through, and then come to that sprint finish where it goes up, and you really have to time it to perfection. But we're still, all eyes are on Vujasin because he promised he would go again. Lionel Vujasin with 5 exclamation marks in the chat said, "I'm not done yet. I'm ready to go." Question is, when is he going? Because there's now 2 kilometers left of racing. Who's going to go and who's going to take it? Hughes at 12. Lyons is up there as well. We got Lyons at 10 watts per kilo. Actually, he's going over the top here. Ryan Lyons at 9. Hughes at 10. Greg Leo's up there, 7.8. Vujasin as well. Over the top here. They're coming into it. Lyons is going as well. Hughes at 4.5. Greg Leo, HRU, Mr. This is being very drawn out now as they come through the green sprint banner. Who's going to go over the top? This is a great opportunity as the peloton is stretched out. The only issue is it's going downhill, so it's more difficult to break off the front. Oh, thank you so much, Shiga. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for the kind words. It does warm my heart. But here we go. 1.5 kilometers to go. You see that set. You see that orange set. That is the finish line. It's on the uphill. It's on the torture. Who's going to take it? Lionel Vujasin, 10 watts per kilo. He's attacking from the front here. He definitely televised this move from a long way out, but it looks like he hasn't gotten that much separation from the get-go. You would think he would have come from further behind, but no, Lionel Vujasin is taking the old approach with taking the hammer to the nail and just going at it. It was just a short effort to see who's attentive, and it didn't really succeed or amount to much, but I don't think that's the last we've seen of Lionel Vujasin. He will go from far out. Luke Potter is saying huge, Team Type 1 hype, Team Hype 1. Oh, I love that. I do love that. That is a good nickname for a team. But here we go. 1 kilometer to go now. Vujasin is yet to go. It's playing into the hands of Greg Leo. Greg Leo should be thrusting himself now. He should be licking his lips as he knows this could be his opportunity to take a win in the morning Grand Fondo and extend his lead as he's currently tied with Kim Little at the very front of the affairs. You got Buckle, you got Hughes, you got Vujasin still at the front, Chris Beck, Matt Gardner still on lead out duties as they come over the top here. They cross over the bridge, I believe, and they get ready. So Matt Gardner leading it out. Hughes at 8 watts per kilo. Buckle at 4.5, and Gardner's doing his very, very best Greg Henderson expression here, or impression. He's going at the front at 10 watts per kilo. You can see Greg Leo, the lion, is in his wheel. This is team display. This is team tactics at its very finest, and especially with double draft. Matt Gardner is leading out Greg Leo near the front with Leandro Messinio. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a sprint train in Swift. But it looks like we have a passenger here, and he may not hold valid tickets. You should always buy tickets before boarding the train. But Kim Little, UK national champion, had mixed in amongst the action there and was sitting in amongst the riders. And looks like Matt Gardner couldn't keep it up. So G. Lysa is on the front now. He's taking over the affairs. They turn left, and they get ready to sprint. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go for all the marvels. Who is going to take the win this morning? Kim is sitting at the back. Vujasin, he's moving further back now. He's out of the draft. Vujasin is yet to go. Leandro Messinio at 14 watts per kilo. In his draft is Greg Leo, the Lion, at 18.5 watts per kilo. You can see at the front now. He's going 7.5. You can see the finish line. 50 meters to go now. Come over the top, but Kim Little is going to take the win. Is he? Yes, I think he is. Kim Little gets revenge from last week. And our Lulu took second place in front of Greg Leo. So it looks like after all that teamwork, after all that effort, Kim Little, the UK national champion, timed that sprint to perfection and came around at just the right moment to take full points. So I think the overall standings are going to be Kim Little in first, Greg Leo in second, and then Lionel Vujasin in the overall standings in third. But congratulations to Lulu as well for coming into second place. That was great racing. Everyone that predicted Kim Little to win, congratulations. You deserve a pat on the back and another coffee this morning. So thank you so much for watching. My name has been Jesper Anker. It's been a pleasure to do Swift live streams for you here in Swift Community Live. And I guess I'll see you next time. Have a great morning.